back to Indianomics. We have been speaking about the impact of the recent demonetization of 500 and 1,000 rupee notes with three experts, Dr. C. Rangarajan, former Reserve Bank Governor, and economists Deepali Bhargava and Sonal Verma. Dr. Rangarajan, can this permanently affect behavior? The real estate sector, for instance, goes through a serious shock. So does the jewelry sector. Last time around, demonetization does not appear from the distance of 40 years to have had an impact on the tax behavior. This move removes the stock of black money. Can it impact the generation of black money, the flow in the future in any way?
Yes, I want to comment on that. This measure, in fact, addresses three target groups. One is those who have unaccounted money kept in the formal currency. The other is those who may be printing fake currency notes. And the third is those who finance or finance terrorism. The last two are really not directly impacting the economy. They are from a totally different angle.
Yes.
As far as the unaccounted money is concerned, what this particular measure does is that to some extent it extinguishes the unaccounted money kept in the formal currency.
Yes.
But it does not deal with those people, or it does not affect the people who have unaccounted income, who had unaccounted income and were converted it into something else like real estate or gold.
Yes.
Therefore, it is only one segment of those who had accumulated unaccounted income which is affected. Second question that you asked, which is relevant. This measure by itself does not do anything as far as accumulation of unaccounted money is concerned. This deals with a stock that has already been there. Therefore, if you want to address that particular issue of preventing the accumulation of unaccounted income, there are other things that need to be done. This by itself will not do, except to send out a signal that the government is concerned with it, and therefore it may have, let us say, an announcement effect, as we call it in monetary policy. But otherwise, if you really want to prevent further accumulation of unaccounted income, actions are required on different fronts.
Yes, we have a lot of digitization of accounts which should allow for much better audit trail than ever before in our country's history. Deepali Bhargava, that question to you. What do you sense is going to be the impact on the fisc for now and in terms of future behavior?
Right. I think that one of the most important concerns on the fiscal have actually been the number of taxpayers and the share of direct taxes. So the recent numbers suggest only 1% of the total population pays taxes, and share of direct taxes to GDP has actually been falling. So it's about 5.5% of GDP. So to the extent some of the money actually moves from informal to formal, I think it's definitely a positive on the fiscal side. And I think and that eventually will also mean that I just want to take a leaf from what Dr. Rangarajan said. So to the extent that the parallel economy returns to normal, so I mean it's difficult to assume that the parallel economy dies. So to the extent the parallel economy returns to normal, after the initial period of adjustment, you will see demand for physical assets going up. So the adjustment of physical assets will happen. So from cash to gold, so the demand for gold will go up, and within the formal economy, I think what will happen is that the demand for financial assets like deposits will go up. So eventually you will see a pickup in financial savings and deposits, which will happen, and you will see a scenario where which is overall really positive for bonds, because without an increase in credit demand, which is our expectation for the next 1 year or so, and higher deposit growth, you will see concerns on fiscal going down. So overall a positive for fiscal, I would tend to think from these 2 points. One, you get more less formal informal economy into the formal system, and plus you see higher deposit growth as well.
Okay. Final question to you, Sonal. What do you think will be the impact on the fisc?
Well, as far as the fiscal impact is concerned, our rough estimate at this stage is that there could be an incremental increase in tax revenue of about 0.6% of GDP, primarily coming through more tax compliance, some part of the informal economy moving to the formal economy. We are being a bit conservative at this stage, and just to mention, not the entire increase in tax revenue that we expect will come in this year. Large part of that will come in next year. The size of the informal economy obviously is quite substantial at 20%, and the tax rate on the formal is 15%. So you could say potentially the tax boost could be 3% of GDP. But we are being conservative at 0.6, primarily because there will be some leakages. There will be ingenious ways to save taxes. People below 2.5 lakh cash deposit will not have to pay taxes. So keeping all those factors in mind, we expect this gain. But I think one important point here is that if you look at this demonetization in conjunction with the goods and services tax that's coming up next year, I think clearly the big theme that's going to play out in India is going to be the formalization of the shadow economy and the benefit that brings along with it, including greater tax coverage, tax to GDP ratio.
Okay. Out of time, but not out of questions. Deepali, Sonal and Dr. Rangarajan, thank you very much, all of you, for putting so much light on a problem and on an issue that's going to have momentous significance for India. Let me reel out the key takeaways from this extremely enlightening discussion. The first one coming from Dr. Rangarajan, that those who are counting on a big manna, big windfall from the Reserve Bank to the government in the form of a 1 or 2 or 3 trillion rupee dividend should think again. That is not the way the accountant will account for it in the Reserve Bank's books. No dividend coming. But there are other advantages which I'll reel out. A second takeaway is initially negative on the GDP itself. Sonal Verma calculates that the GDP in the third quarter itself could fall by almost 1 percentage point from her previous estimates, and probably by about half a percentage point in Q4 as well. However, there is a kickstart that can come for the economy. That's the third takeaway, because of the rise in deposits and not so much demand for loans just yet because of the slowdown that the shock will result in. You could see deposits being invested in bonds and therefore a very sharp fall in interest rates, which may jumpstart the economy. All our experts said there will definitely be a deflationary impact because some money goes out of the system, and that always brings down prices because the money effect is gone. For the fisc, there is going to be a temporary advantage as a little more taxes get paid. Estimates are varying. Probably another 50,000 crores at best could come to the fisc. But the bigger advantage, as Sonal points out, is that along with GST, there will be a larger formalization of the economy, and therefore in future years, tax collections can definitely improve. One sobering thought which comes from Deepali, that after a point, the parallel economy also will normalize, will learn to live with the shock, and then that economy will start not keeping hoarded cash, but will start investing in gold and land. So in a bit, you could see, after perhaps a temporary gap, gold and land prices going up. That's it on this edition of Indianomics. Thanks for watching.